There's been buzz around the bypass project planned for Montego Bay for years. As such, many would say that the Montego Bay Perimeter Road is long overdue. Here is a breakdown of what is planned for this new development in Jamaica's second city and tourism capital. According to Ivan Anderson, the managing director of National Road Operating and Constructing Company, NROCC, they should be commencing construction in the latter part of 2022 at a cost of US $220 million. The project will include the construction of 25 kilometers of roadway and will take place in two phases. The first will be the Montego Bay Bypass, which includes the construction of a 15-kilometer bypass beginning in Ironshore going around to Bogue Road. The second section will be the construction of 10 kilometers of highway from Montego Bay to Montpelier. This is called the Long Hill Bypass. Also included in the plan is the rehabilitation and expansion of West Green Avenue and Barnett Streets. In addition, they will be doing an extensive assessment of Montego Bay's drainage system. All of this is the first step in the plan to eventually tie us back to Mandeville, where we are doing the Maypen to Williamsfield project, says Ivan Anderson in this article. He also stated, "So we are starting at Montego Bay going south to Montpelier, and then we expect to continue that project further south by Santa Cruz, back up to Spur Tree, and then all the way back around to Williams Fields, which will tie back to the rest of Highway 2000 project." Before we get into where they are now, let us discuss the advantages of the project and how it will be funded. Road users have been calling for the construction of a bypass for many years. Let's delve into some of the advantages of the Montego Bay Perimeter Road and how it will change the future of Montego Bay. Number 1. The Montego Bay Bypass, beginning in Ironshore going around to Bogue Road, will decrease the number of vehicles that pass through downtown Montego Bay, thereby relieving the traffic congestion issues in the city, an issue that MOBAY has been struggling with for years. Streets like Barnett Street and St. James Street are narrow and not able to accommodate the amount of vehicles that pass through the city daily. Even with the widening of Howard Cook Boulevard and the traffic circulation changes made a few years ago to major streets in Montego Bay, there is still a lot of traffic congestion in peak hours and when it rains. This makes the commute unbearable and places stress on employers and employees and has a negative effect on the overall productivity of the city, essentially restraining the economic growth of Montego Bay. With this new development, people who are simply passing through Montego Bay can use the bypass instead of entering the city. This will free up traffic congestion in that area. In addition, it will give Montego Bay the type of road network that a second city, tourism capital, and in some ways the economic capital of Jamaica truly deserves. And hopefully, it will lead to more infrastructural developments in the future. Number 2. The Long Hill Bypass, which starts in Montego Bay and ends in Montpelier, will cut out the dreaded Long Hill Road that also suffers from heavy traffic congestion. Whenever a vehicle breaks down, whenever it rains, or there's a car crash in that area, a nightmare situation is created. You can be trapped for up to 3 to 4 hours in traffic. The road is narrow and the situation is compounded by a steep gorge on one side of the road that makes it even more treacherous. Road users have been calling for an alternate route for years, especially since it's the main road connecting St. James with Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth. The creation of the bypass will create a safer and less congested alternative. Number 3. Montego Bay throughout the years has been plagued with flooding whenever there is heavy rain or rain for an extended period of time. The fact that they're going to be doing a comprehensive study on the drainage system in Montego Bay presents a possible future solution to this long-standing problem. So obviously, this is going to take a lot of work and money. Funding. The budget for the Montego Bay Perimeter Road is US $220 million. Jamaica will not be taking out a loan to fund the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project. Prime Minister Holness, during his speech at the 2021-2022 budget debate in the House of Representatives, said this would be the first major highway development financed with our own resources and not linked to a loan. Initially, the administration had planned to finance the bypass project with a loan from China, somewhat similar to what was done for the North-South Highway and the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. That would have meant that a Chinese construction company would have to do the job, and much of the labor force would have been imported from China. However, it was later decided that our own resources could be used to finance this project. They have contracted China Harbor Engineering and Constructing Company to construct the road because the company had already commenced with some design and engineering work. And at any rate, a public tender would further delay the already long overdue construction. The government has also sought the right to designate the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project the National Development Project. The Cabinet voted in March to declare it a National Development Project. According to this article, key stipulations under the order include the development's exemption from provisions under the Public Procurement Act. Once approved as a national development project, recruiting a minimum of 90% Jamaicans to undertake unskilled construction work and 50% for technical jobs, and a collaboration between CHEC and Heart Trust to develop and implement a training program for the transfer of knowledge and technology to Jamaicans. This project complements the Ferris Cross to Macfield Road Improvement Project in Westmoreland. In the long run, it is expected that the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project will connect to an island-wide road network connecting Kingston to Montego Bay with a 4-lane highway. So far, they have received an environmental permit allowing them to start construction, which, as I said previously, is slated to begin in 2022. They are now working on the design of the project, which should be completed over the next year. Also, land surveys, property acquisitions, and issuing of notices have commenced. A more detailed breakdown on the road can be found on NROCC's website. I will share that in the description box below.